everybody, great to see you again. Today we're going to talk about how we can draw things from a different point of view or a different perspective. So that means looking at it in many different ways and different directions. So when we look at things, we see our own objects in front of us in our own special, unique way that not everybody else notices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what the difference between a form and a shape are. So shapes are two-dimensional, which means they're flat, and if you watch the video, you probably remember that. And then the form is three-dimensional, which means that it has volume, dimension, and height and width. Okay, so this is an example of a form. Okay, all right, now if you want to, what I want you to do before you go to the next part is I want you to look in your house and see if you can find a form that you can draw. So these are all examples of cylinders. Those I think are pretty easy to find in your house. You could find a can, you could probably find maybe like this is for hair, container. Or if you can't find a cylinder, maybe you can find a rectangular prism or cube. So before you start the next part, I want you to go find one and bring it back to your drawing space. Hopefully you guys are ready and you have found an object. And you know, if you just want to watch me right now and then come back later, that is fine, and watch it again when you're ready. So I have an assortment of different cylinders here, and I'm gonna just pick one that I want to draw. So if you notice, there's all different shapes and sizes. So when I'm gonna draw it, we're gonna be doing at least 3 different points of view. So what that means is looking at it from different directions or different angles. So I could look at it from the side, I could look at it from the top and see how it changes, or maybe on an angle. Okay, so whoops, it's gonna roll away. So I'm going to try drawing it in 3 different directions. So when I look at it from the top, really all I see is the circle. When I look at it from the side, you notice that you can see the top, the bottom, those edges there, and then the sides, the parallel edge, right? And then if I have it at an angle, I can see many different areas of it. So those are one way you could do it. And then same thing with any cylinder that you might have, or sorry, not cylinder. If you have a cube like this, I think cubes are nice to draw because you can actually see the corner and the edge where all of those sides or planes meet, where they're coming to. So let's get started. First, I'm going to show how you could draw it just from the top. And when you're drawing things from observation, again, I just see a circle. So that's view number 1. And Miss Pycraft has a lot of practice drawing circles, but that's my number 1 view right there. And I can even label it, and I could write top view. Okay, and I can add more details in a minute if I want to. Number 2, my next one, I'm going to draw like this, but standing up and down. So that is my side view. So I'm just gonna sit down here for a second so I can see it. When I'm doing this, I notice there's the top part coming down and the sides, and it's not super long, right? And I kind of curve the bottom, not a perfect straight line, because I want it to look like it is rounded, like a cylinder. And I'm going to do the same on the top, and I can kind of see just a little bit of this edge, the other side peeking through. So I make this really skinny oval there. And then I make my 2 lines that are parallel, which means that they don't cross each other on each side. So now, if you look, you can see, whoops, I gave the illusion of it being rounded. So it looks like it's rounded down here. And then I have my sides and part of the top view. There's one other thing I need to add, that detail here where the lid was. And so again, I'm gonna follow that same curve, because if I do a straight line across, that doesn't quite make sense. So I make a curve line across to show that it's going around the edge. And you can try to do some shading if you want, which would be the last step. Okay, so this is my side view. Okay, now I'm gonna try to do it laying down like an angle. Okay, so I see a couple different things here. So I'm gonna go, stop rolling. I'm gonna draw the top edge that I see, and it's at kind of a diagonal. And I'm gonna draw this curved top part where the lid is, and then the other side here coming down. And so right now it's kind of like a rounded rectangle, right? But I also see part of the bottom of this, and you can't see this from where you're looking, but I can see part of the bottom oval here, kind of like where I could on the top, but I also see another little one inside there, which is the circle that goes inside of that. And I'll show you so you can see when I'm done drawing it. And here's the lid, and I follow the curve again that I'm noticing. And up here, just like so. Okay, so today, what I want you to do is to, like I said, find one form, either could be a cylinder, could be a cube, a rectangular prism, a pyramid if you have anything. I'm just adding some shadow or some shading here. You don't have to do that, but I just thought it'd be fun. Okay, and just looking where I see some dark areas and some brighter ones. And then you're gonna draw it, you're gonna lay it down, look at it in 3 different ways, and draw what you see. Okay, so how can you show the different points of view, the different perspectives? Okay, so that is the cylinder. Real quickly, I just want to show you when you're drawing the cube. When you look at this part here, there's a couple ways that you could do that. One way is to first draw a rectangle or square, depending on the exact form you're doing. Just draw your regular one there. And then again, on the top, I'm going to go from this corner because I can see there's a line there. And I make a diagonal line coming out. And then I do it from the other top corner, another diagonal line. Make sure you can see that. I'll come a little closer. Okay, and then I do a diagonal line from the bottom. And you notice I have them all going that same direction. And now I can connect these 2 lines to finish that edge, that face, and then these 2 lines. Okay, so that's how I can make a 3-dimensional cube. Okay, so those are just some other tricks that you can try. So I want you to explore, see what you can create. And remember, today, these are kind of just some of our practice drawings because we're going to be using this for our following week's drawings that we're doing, okay? And looking at things very closely and getting the forms. Have fun. I can't wait to see what you do. And neither can our friend.